Hi, I'm Justin McLeod, Director of Public Relations and Marketing for Roanoke City Public Schools. This month, we'll highlight the district's initiatives to become trauma-informed. And as the old Fallon Park Elementary is demolished, we'll take you inside the new school to showcase the steam room. That and a whole lot more on this month's show. Roanoke City Public Schools is proud to be a trauma-informed district. What exactly does that mean? Well, here to talk about it today is Tasha Steele. She is the Executive Director for School Counseling and Equity, as well as Decca Knight, who is the Coordinator for Trauma-Informed Care for Roanoke City Public Schools. Thank you for being here. Tasha, why don't you start us off? I mean, trauma-informed sort of implies trauma, but what does that mean when we say we are a trauma-informed district?
So being trauma-informed recognizes that our students come to us each day with various experiences. And so we work really hard to try not to treat children like cookie cutters, right? So they come to us from diverse populations, diverse homes, and things where they've had some challenges and things that may have happened to them, and they bring that to school with them. And so, just working to make sure that we understand that this is happening, but also meet to address the needs of our children individually, rather than address those needs as a whole.
We recently, Decca, had several parent meetings, one at Patrick Henry, at William Fleming. What was the purpose of those meetings?
So to help parents in the community help them to understand what we mean by trauma-informed. I think that trauma can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So, for instance, when we throw around the word trauma, sometimes people say, well, do you mean a brain injury or something? And although that is traumatic to the brain, what we're talking about is adverse childhood experiences, which are things that children go through in their formative years that kind of change or maybe alter their path in some way and can actually affect their biology and their neurology. So what we're wanting parents to understand is that if a child goes through a number of experiences that are overwhelming for them, it can actually impact their development. And so we wanted parents to understand how it impacted their development, why it impacted their development, and what they could do to help their child be resilient when those things do happen.
At these parent meetings, was it a matter of giving advice on how to treat the trauma, prevent the trauma, both?
Right, so I would say both.
Okay.
At the initial meetings, the main thing we really want to do is help parents understand what trauma is. So going back to what Decca mentioned, the ways that trauma can impact the brain, the ways that it impacts relationships and the way we learn. So giving them that foundational information, but also within those presentations to share with them ways that we can prevent that, and then also ways that we can help our children when they have experienced trauma, how to help them overcome that.
Decca, you mentioned that trauma means different things to different people, and the trauma itself could be, so there's not one size fits all,
Right.
but was there something that came out of those parent meetings that you could share with the community now that may help, maybe not all parents, but the majority of parents when we talk about trauma?
So we always say that trauma is through the eye of the beholder. It's through the child's lens. And so often as adults, we may say to a child or our child, like, that's not traumatic. That wasn't a big deal. And it may not be that way to the child. So we could have any kind of incident, any kind of something happen in our life, like let's say something happens outside of our home in our neighborhood. We could say, well, it didn't impact you. Well, that's not necessarily true, right? So we have to kind of go with the child where they're leading us. And if a child is expressing that it was overwhelming to them or scary to them, or they were fearful, then that's kind of our indicator that have been a traumatic experience, and it may seem minor to us, but maybe not to the child. So really helping adults to understand that they cannot lead that narrative for their child, that the child is one leading the narrative when they're overwhelmed.
Trauma-informed is a trend school districts across the country, and really in many ways, would you agree, Tasha, because I know you speak at a lot of conferences, Roanoke City Public Schools is at the forefront in becoming a trauma-informed district.
We are at the forefront, and I would say over the last year and a half, we worked really hard to become trauma-informed, but I feel like we're moving towards trauma-responsive. We are doing a lot of things within our schools, as far as sensory walks, and I know you'll talk more about that at some point, but also calming spaces for our students when they are dysregulated or in that place in the brain where they just need some time to work through whatever it is that may have triggered an emotion or a particular behavior. And then teachers, administrators, counselors are responding to students very differently. And so instead of asking the question, what's wrong with you, we're asking what has happened to you so that we can help meet those basic needs of a child, because a child cannot learn if they have not had their basic needs met. But we are doing a lot across the district as far as professional development and just lots of training. And DECA and I have worked really hard to go outside of Roanoke City and learn more so that we can bring more back. And so we're very pleased at the work that's happening here, the hard work with our principals and our staff members at the school level.
It's a matter of changing the mindset, correct?
Absolutely.
So what is the response so far? Because you may have a teacher who's been doing this for 30 years who says, well, I want to do it the way I did it when I was taught 3 decades ago. So how do you go about getting everybody on board with this?
Well, we talk a lot about the best thing to do for a child who has gone through trauma is to build a relationship with them. And it's the same for our staff. So we call it a parallel process, meaning that we're asking our teachers to build relationships with their students who are struggling. And then we want to build relationships with our staff so they feel safe enough to tell us if they're struggling. And then the next step of that is then helping them to have enough insight to be able to look at how they're managing their classroom or how they're managing their behaviors. And getting away perhaps from some of those old school kind of classroom management techniques and moving towards, again, what Tasha said, what's going on with you? How can I help? Is there something that's overwhelming you? And knowing that, kids are not walking into our classroom every day just to get to us, right? That, again, they're hurting. And that sometimes that hurt's being spread around, and how do we respond appropriately to that?
It's one thing to talk about trauma, but it's another thing to put it in practice. And you mentioned a sensory walk. That's one of the initiatives that many of our schools have taken advantage of, as well as calming rooms. I know Breckenridge Middle has one. But when we come back, we will show you what a sensory walk is all about and what it's being done at Round Hill Elementary. But in the meantime, I want to thank you both.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with the part about the sensory walk.
There's a myth out there that somebody who's using drugs is engaged in a selfish habit, that they're not hurting anybody, and I can say that's not true at all. Every drug user has somebody that they've hurt, that they've not been there for because they're under the influence, or they're using their time and money to obtain drugs. I see a lot of people in the probation office who steal from family members, steal from friends and businesses, so I can truly say that a drug addiction and drug habit hurts everybody.
Many of our schools have embraced Traumainformed, and one of them is Round Hill Elementary. And here to join us today is Kat Duncan. She's the new principal here at Round Hill Elementary. First of all, welcome, although you're not a stranger to the district. So tell us about this Traumainformed initiative, the sensory walk. What's that all about?
Right. So a sensory walk is kind of like an obstacle course for your brain. It's very simple, decals that we ordered online and stuck on the floors and the walls. And students walk through them and are tasked with doing different things. So walking like in a bear walk, doing push-ups against the wall, reaching their hands up. And kids enjoy it, but it also serves another purpose, which is to sort of refocus their brains, energize them if they need it, and also helps sort of connect across the different sides of their body.
So is it a certain grade level, age group that you're targeting, and why?
So we geared this one toward kindergarten and first grade. So it's in our kindergarten hallway, and we thought that would be a good way to pilot it. Many of our kindergarten students and first graders, as you would imagine, come in sometimes needing a little bit of a reset, and so we wanted to start with that age group. But the sensory walk can be applied to any grade level. It would just look a little different for older students.
This is sort of a new term. It may not necessarily be for educators like yourself, but for the public in general. Is it for students who need a timeout, are in trouble? Or...
So the way that one of our teachers who helped set it up described it is it's a reset, not recess. So it's not playtime. It's also, though, it's not punishment, and that's, I think, going along with the trauma-informed initiatives. This is not something, where a student is maybe getting off task and we say, oh, we need to, put you in a corner and that's how we'll fix this. This is something that's going to help them make different choices in the future by rewiring their brain.
Okay, so the sensory walk, how long are they in there? As long as they want, or do you have a time set?
So there are a certain number of obstacles that they have to go through. I would say it takes about 30 seconds, so it's quick. A student can go through it multiple times, and a lot of them enjoy doing that. But we would not have a student do it more than twice, because at that point it just wouldn't be as effective.
So you're saying in some regards it is a reset, but they do have to think. So it's not as if, I mean, there is an educational value to it.
Right,
too,
exactly,
too.
yeah. So they have to think about what these different shapes mean. There's some writing, simple words like push or reach. So they have to interpret what those words mean, and they have to also remember what comes next. So there's some sequencing.
So what's been the reaction? You've had it here for well over a month now, the reaction from students so far?
Students love it. Many of them have started requesting it at times when it would be appropriate for them to use it. It's been very well organized by our staff, and so there are sort of specific times that people know that it's available, and so staff have also really embraced it in terms of suggesting it to students when they notice it would be helpful.
And what is the feedback you are receiving from the staff? Are they finding that it's actually helping in some ways?
They are, yes. So you can tell really when a student finishes it, they're often sort of excited and seem ready to kind of move on and get back into class. So I think they're finding that it really is helping with focus and attention and energy in class.
Are there plans to potentially sort of expand this, or you're happy with the grade level that you chose now? Where does it go from here?
I hope that we will in the future. I hope that we'll expand to the older grade levels. And one thing that's nice is with older students, I've noticed the counselors who helped put this together have started asking students, our 4th and 5th graders, well, what do you think of this? Would something like this be interesting to you? And so with older students, you can kind of involve them in that process.
Okay. Last question, have you done the sensory walk and how'd you do?
I have. It is challenging. I don't know how these kids get the energy to be jumping and crawling on the floor and doing push-ups, but it's tough.
Okay, well, sounds like a neat idea, and congratulations that it's going well, and hope it continues to do so, okay?
Now you have to do it.
Yeah, well, we will not be videotaping that, okay? Ms. Duncan, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll be right back.
As the Star City of the South, it's easy to see why Roanoke shines. Roanoke, a record 7-time All-America city and named one of the top 100 best places to live. A big reason? Roanoke City Schools. From rigorous academics and nationally recognized arts programs to strong community partnerships and a full range of sports offerings, there's a reason Roanoke City Public Schools is one of the top urban school systems in the country. Our schools are a diverse community of students and educators, a source of strength where all achieve academic success with tools that allow them to take center stage. Our mission is to graduate students prepared for life in a rapidly changing world. It starts with programs that emphasize the importance of reading at a young age, technology in the classroom, learning to speak Spanish in elementary, a wide range of career and technical education classes to create a highly qualified workforce, a variety of advanced classes to give students the edge when applying for college, a community college access program allowing our graduates to attend Virginia Western Community College tuition-free for 3 years, Forest Park Academy, a specialized school that helps high school students overcome challenges and graduate, and the Roanoke Valley Governor School for advanced study of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics with a 100% college acceptance rate. Our schools are the heart of this community. Patrick Henry and William Fleming are both state-of-the-art high schools, and the new Fallon Park Elementary brings a sense of pride to Southeast Roanoke. We believe every child should be exposed to arts and athletics and offer all kinds of opportunities to showcase a child's talents. Providing musical instruments in every elementary school, as well as bands, orchestras, and choral programs at each middle and high school. And with more than 40 different sports programs, students can shine under Friday night lights or making the game-winning goal. Learning doesn't end when the bell rings, with opportunities after school and during the summer. Our Summer Enrichment Program, RCPS Plus, is leading the way by preparing students for the next school year with exciting, innovative instruction. We believe education reaches far beyond the classroom. we partner with the City of Roanoke, its many business, community, and faith organizations to create a better prepared student. From swim safety at the YMCA, experiencing the great outdoors at Carvin's Cove, research opportunities for our students at the Virginia Tech Carilion Research Institute, to providing free books to students thanks to organizations like Turn the Page, our partnerships help plant the seeds for a better community. Our children have a future that's full of promise, thanks to teachers who truly care about children, engaged parents, and a caring community. We help students from the beginning to graduation and beyond. Will you join us? Roanoke City Public Schools. Strong students, strong schools, strong city.
One of our most popular programs expanded this year, and here to talk about it is Mr. Pedro with Southwest Virginia Ballet, as well as Carrie Gates, our fine arts coordinator. Of course, we're talking about Dance Espanol. It's been a program that's been widely popular and has gone on for many years. But in case someone's living under a rock, Mr. Pedro, what is Dance Espanol?
Dance Espanol is a great program about dance, but it's the introduction of the Spanish language through dance. And it's all based with the SOLs. And every year I partner with a different arts organization or museum locally.
And you target fourth graders.
That
Any
is
particular
correct.
reason why that grade?
Because the fourth graders, they're like sponges. They are like open-minded and they want to learn and they're like to experiment new options.
We expanded this year to Hurt Park, Miss Gates. Any particular reason why that school?
No, we just felt like it was a good match. It was the right size. It was, the kids enjoy doing a lot of extra things. So it was a nice expansion into the curriculum of what they already have there.
Take us from when you introduced it to the fourth graders at Hurt Park to now. I would imagine in the beginning they're like, what is this?
Yeah, they look at me like I'm an alien when I come in. But it was wonderful to see their faces the first time because I don't go by myself. I go with live music. I have a pianist. So we have a 45 minutes class. Each class will have 45 minutes. In the introduction, when they used the space and the movement and the language, they were so engaged from the beginning to the end. And the teachers, they were very appreciative because I'm reinforcing what they're teaching in the classes and give them awareness and teamwork, especially. So that's why they really like it there at Hurt Park.
And the technique, they just get better over
yes,
weeks
every
and months?
week, yes. And how they remember. The teachers, like this week, it was incredible how the teachers say how they can remember everything, all the choreography and the words about, because they're not only learning the basic of Spanish, but now they're learning choreography for their final production.
What's the feedback you receive from the school?
Teachers and kids love it. I think it's something that they look forward to every week. It's amazing what they can do and the progress that they make from the beginning until the end, their performance of Dance Espanol. And it's something that I think the kids are really proud of. And I think it's something that they remember for a long, long time.
And Mr. Pedro, remind us, you sort of teach this Dance Espanol once a day throughout the week at each school, and then they all come together for a finale. How do you put that all together, teaching different parts of the show and then bringing everybody together?
Yes, it's like I see the final product because it's the wonderful thing. I teach that to the kids too, the wonderful partnership we're able to make. Like every year I work with somebody different. Like this year I'm working with local colors. And that's how I talk about diversity, about their countries. They need to be very proud of who they are. And especially with the Virginia studies, how we're learning from the regions and how that build up the community with immigrants. And we need to respect each other. And that's the creation of this year. And it's how build up all together we make dance nice to culturally.
If you've ever been to the finale, it's packed. This year you've had to move it to the Berglund Center. Mm-hmm. I guess it's a good problem to have, right?
It's a great problem to have, but it also gives the kids another experience at performing on this fantastic stage. You're going from, performing or, rehearsing in school cafeterias in the gym, and then you get to do a performance on the same stage that the symphony does or the Southwest Virginia Ballet. So it's a great experience for them to have as well.
Unfortunately, there's just one Mr. Pedro, so I know this is really all the schools wish they had this. I mean, are we sort of comfortable as a school system where this program is now? I mean, we can't really expand it if we wanted to.
I think that's a great question. It would be great to have Pedro in all 17 of our elementary schools. I think that's probably impossible for him. So we have to limit it to 4 or 5 schools is what we do. And I think that's what we can do. 5 days, 5 classes, 5 schools.
Let's take it back to the finale. This year, I know you have a theme each year, and you mentioned that you're working with local colors.
Local colors, yes. It's about that. In Spanish called Unidad Cultural a través de la danza. That's mean cultural unity through dance. So we speak the same language, yes, because dance is a silent art form, and dance is a universal language. And now we are all united because we speak in the same language with dance and our cultures mixing together.
Well, congratulations. We're proud of the Hurt Park students.
Absolutely.
If you saw in the video, they're doing a great job. And thank you, Mr. Pedro, for your continued support of our students.
Thank you for RCPS to support us, the dance, and keep the arts alive in the schools.
It's a great partnership.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll be right back.
What's up, punk? Send those books home for. They ain't gonna help you on the streets.
To study?
Yeah, man, you need to join our crew, aka the Cobra.
Yeah, ain't nobody messing with the Cobra.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to go to college.
Nah, man. I mean, we're just having some fun. Nobody in our gang gets caught anyway.
Well, I guess sure.
All right. Hey, look, Henry. If you're gonna keep rolling with us, you gotta prove to me that you can hang.
Okay.
All right, then. Go.
Henry, what are you doing?
Every year, over 7,000 arrests result from gang activity. You could end up just like these criminals. Is that what you want?
Don't be a part of the problem. Be a part of the solution.
We are in the middle of Phase 3 of the new Fallon Park Elementary, and here to talk about it is Principal Mitchum. She is the proud principal of the old and the new Fallon Park Elementary. Yes. You have been sort of incorporating Phase 2 here for several months now.
Yes.
What's it been like for everyone to be sort of under one roof now?
Hearing from the kids and the teachers, everyone's liking having classroom doors, windows in their classrooms. I think we have this new sense of camaraderie that's running through the building, and spirits are high and instruction is going strong. One
of the new components about the new building is just all the technology. And tell us a little bit about the STEAM room. And in case people don't know what STEAM stands for, it's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
That is correct. We do have 2 computer labs in the new building, and so we turned one of the computer labs into a STEAM room. And so there we have the majority of our science manipulatives, some of our math manipulatives, as well as the technology that's been purchased by Roanoke City Public Schools. And right now, while Phase 3 is being built with music, art, and the PE room, we do have our specials going through that classroom, tying in some technology into their curriculum.
Tell us about the setup, because it's not really your typical classroom setup, is it?
No, we have different type of seating. We do have flexible seating, different height tables that could be set up for individuals, or we can group the tables together for group projects.
Is the goal for students, or is it the teacher who's going to rearrange the way the lesson goes with the furniture?
It'll be up to the teacher. So the goal is maybe 5th grade is doing a science experiments. So they can come up, set up in the morning, and then rotate all the classes through. Or maybe when we want to have a STEAM day, because we do have those here at Fallon Park, it's another space for that instructor to come up and set that space up for STEAM day activities.
So it's one room that has unlimited possibilities in many ways, right?
Absolutely, yes.
What's been the reaction of the students as well as the teachers to the STEAM room?
I think it's exciting to have this community space, a change of environment going from one room to the next, and I think they're excited about the flexibility of the space as well.
As we are taping this interview, we have the demolition beginning of the old Fallon Park Elementary. That's essentially part of Phase 3, yes. And that will include the demolition of the entire old building, but then the renovation of the existing gym and transforming the cafeteria, the old cafeteria, yes. into a fine arts wing. What's this day like for you, watching those those walls come tumbling down.
It's bittersweet. I think we're excited about the new opportunities, but it is sad to see the demolition of the old Fallon Park today.
What will go in its place?
There we're going to have the bus loop, and we'll also have the new playground that will be there as well.
And phase 3, the demolition will take several weeks, and then phase 3 should be done by this summer.
Yes.
You're almost there.
We're
I mean,
almost
this is
there.
several years in the making of actual planning and then construction. I would imagine it's been a lot of ups and downs throughout that process.
But it's been exciting the whole time. I mean, even through the ups and downs, the construction company has been great to work with. It has not had an impact on the instruction going on. But we're looking forward to the finished product this summer.
I've gotten, I've received several requests for texts asking for bricks. So will you be taking a brick on your way out?
If I can find one, I'm going to take one.
Okay. Well, this place, this facility is absolutely gorgeous. It's modern, and it's going to be a beacon for Southeast. And you and the community should be very proud of that, and glad it's going very well.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll be right back.
So for the last 6 or 7 years, I've been on the board of Career and Technical Education in Roanoke City. It's been near and dear to my heart because I graduated Patrick Henry some years ago, but also there's a major shortage of technicians nationally. And so we want to encourage young people to choose that as a career, or at least consider it. And so that's why we've had training programs in place for the last 4 or 5 years, and then now we're obviously donating this vehicle. Traditionally, when you walk into a high school automotive training program, you're going to see a vehicle that's maybe 20 years old. It was donated by somebody that had a good cause in mind, but it was also because they couldn't sell it. We wanted them to be able to learn on the latest technology, and with the new 2013 Fiesta, they're going to be able to use all of the technology that actually exists in the real world today. So for us, we see the donation of the vehicle as also an investment in the future of Magic City, because we, on a regular basis, will be giving sign-on bonuses, et cetera, to technicians to come and work for us. And that's no different than helping recruit young people out of high school to come straight into work in Magic City.
We want to leave you now with more from the demolition of the old Fallon Park Elementary. The new school will be completely finished by the end of the summer. We'll see you again soon.